Yeah, I'll iron it out.
How goes it?
Hi, what's going on?
Is this my closed question?
How you doing?
Oh. Everybody ready? Everybody set?
We're good. We're good.
All right. We'll now call the common council meeting of December 7th, 2021 to order. Roll call, please.
Alderman Kirkowski is excused. Alderman Lorik.
Here.
Dukenyak.
Here.
Tillman.
Here.
Gale.
Here.
Guzekowski.
Here. Would all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? And would our newly elected police chief please lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Dave. That will get us to the approval of minutes of 11/16/2021. If everybody please take a couple minutes and take a look and see if there's any errors, omissions, corrections, or discussion. When you are satisfied, motion, please.
Clerk moves to approve the minutes of 11/16/2021.
Dukenyak, second.
Roll call.
Alderman Dukenyak.
Aye.
Tillman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Lorik.
Aye.
And item 4 is recognition, and it's consideration of a resolution of commendation to Ralph Krenzel, retiring Assistant Director of Public Works. We have our Director of Public Works has since retired, so I'm gonna start it off, and then I'll let each of you come on in. Ralph was an integral part of the Oak Creek DPW. He started back in '92, so we're talking about a very long career here. Ralph moved up through the ranks, assumed the assistant director's job, and I mean, basically, Ralph and DPW, like a lot of these people, have a job that you don't notice what they do until they don't do it, and then your phone starts ringing. And Ralph kept that phone from ringing, at least from my perspective, quite a bit. He was just a great asset, and he has a long resume over what he's done. And I can't thank him enough for what he's done for the city of Oak Creek, some of the policies he's put forward, helped us develop the dump and all the different stuff that came in his tender since 1992 with the changes in the city, including Town Square and all the added roadways you see. So nothing but admiration for Ralph, and I'd like to wish him a long and happy retirement. And I'll open it up to the council if anybody would like to say a few words.
Sure, Mayor Dan, Rich Dukenyak, 3rd District. I had the pleasure of serving with Ralph on the Traffic and Safety Committee for 4 years. And I've also known Ralph to be just there for the residents of the 3rd District. When I would get calls with issues in regards to roads, streets, lots of ditches in the 3rd District. So ditches, flooding issues, Ralph was always there to address the concerns of the residents in the 3rd District. So, Ralph, God bless you. Happy retirement. Enjoy.
Alderman, Mike?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I've known Ralph for probably, actually, I was shocked when I read the commendation here. He's got 29 years with the city. I didn't realize he had that many, because I go back with him 40 years, and which probably originates from the restaurant that he shared with his mom and dad on the corner of Howell and Highway 100, the Red Key. I don't know how many remember that restaurant.
I remember
that. Was his mom and dad that ran that restaurant, and those of us have been around enough, we're in that restaurant, I'm sure. And since I've known this guy, he's been a hard worker and a hands-on guy. He'd get in the kitchen, and when they needed help back there and they needed food out, immediately he was there. And when his parents got older, he took on a bigger role and made homemade pizzas back there, and you name it. The guy was hands-on.
I never knew that.
He transitioned into this job being a hands-on guy, because I seen him when he first started with the pick and shovel in ditches. And so kudos to Ralph, and happy and healthy retirement.
Ken, Chris, anybody?
I got to say goodbye to Ralph at the tree lighting, so it was
Excellent.
Yeah, good deal. Danny, are we gonna read this one in, or?
Yeah, we will.
right.
We will. I kind of jumped the gun on it because I was a little excited for Ralph. No, he's really been a good guy, and I mean, whenever I had a complaint, I can't tell you what a pleasure it was to call him up, because rarely did I ever get a phone call back saying he failed to contact anybody, so. But anyways, yeah, please read it.
One other note, if I could,
Yeah, go
before.
ahead.
Maybe more on a personal note, I can't say enough about Ralph's work and the kind of guy he is, but on 2 different occasions when, the last couple of weeks when I've been out at DPW, 2 of the younger guys on separate occasions said, they can't say enough about Ralph, but both of them noted he was like a second father to me. So that struck me as the kind of guy that Ralph is. So he will be missed. We need more people like Ralph in our organization. So
Need more people like Ralph all the way around. But anyways, if you would, please read that in, Catherine.
Certainly, resolution number 12281, 120721, resolution of commendation to Ralph Krenzel. Whereas Ralph Krenzel began his employment with the City of Oak Creek on May 11th, 1992 as a full-time street division laborer, and on July 1st, 1992 was promoted to equipment operator. And whereas beginning in 2007, Ralph Krenzel intermittently served as acting street supervisor when needed, and in 2014 when the position became vacant due to retirement. And whereas Ralph Krenzel was promoted to assistant director of streets, Parks and Forestry on March 2nd, 2015, and where on January 1, 2018, the position was changed to Assistant Director of Public Works. And whereas Ralph Krenzel served as a member of the Traffic and Safety Commission from 2012 to 2021. And whereas Ralph Krenzel was part of the 1993-1994 Winter Operations Team, who received a special commendation for an exceptional job well done. And whereas during his years of employment, Ralph Krenzel answered many calls for service from the public and provided immeasurable service to the community, always striving to enhance the quality of life in Oak Creek. And whereas Ralph Krenzel fulfilled the duties of his office with the greatest devotion, pride, integrity, and utmost loyalty. And whereas on December 1st, 2021, Ralph Krenzel will retire from his position as Assistant Director of Public Works after serving over 29 years with the City of Oak Creek, allowing more time for travel, especially on the high seas, and to spend time with his children, grandchildren, and countless friends. Whereas Ralph Krenzel will be missed by his coworkers for his cheerfulness, fantastic sense of humor, and quick wit, and his cooking skills, amongst many other things. Now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and Common Council of the City of Oak Creek that for and on behalf of the citizens of Oak Creek, sincere gratitude and appreciation be extended to Ralph Krenzel for his 29 years of dedicated service to the City of Oak Creek, and that best wishes for good health and happiness be extended to Ralph Krenzel and his family in his retirement years. Be it further resolved that this resolution be spread upon the minutes of this meeting, and the city clerk be and is hereby directed to transmit a suitable copy thereof to Ralph Krenzel, passed and adopted the 7th day of December, 2021.
Thank you, Catherine.
You're welcome.
Again, Ken, thank you for the reminder of that. Like I said, Ralph is such a good guy. And again, I'm just appreciative to all the help he's given me over the years, and I'm sure you all feel the same way. So, if there's no further words, motion, please.
I'm going to make a motion to adopt resolution number 12281, a resolution of commendation for the record, Ralph Krenzel, retiring Assistant Director of Public Works.
Hasn't been called that in years.
Well, it was called 3 different names tonight, but it is Krenzel.
Guzekowski will second.
Roll call.
Alderman Tillman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Lorick.
Aye.
Dukenyak.
Aye.
Thank you all for that. And again, Ralph, once again, on behalf of myself and the City of Oak Creek and the entire Common Council, thank you for your service. It's been greatly appreciated. Under new business, item 5 is consideration of an ordinance fixing the salary ranges, salary, wages, and allowances for all full-time and part-time non-represented positions for the year of 2022. Max, going to take that one? Lead us off.
Thank you, Max Gagan, Assistant City Administrator, Comptroller. So just want to provide a little background for the Common Council and what we're presenting to you today. So historically, the city has adopted 4 ordinances and a resolution when they did salary and wage adjustments. And one of the charges from City Administrator Vickers to HR Manager Rogers and I was to see if there's a way we can try and combine this into one ordinance. Well, we failed in that, because we understand that the law group has to be a separate ordinance because it's a contractual arrangement, and the library has the library grade plan adopted by their board. So we've gotten from 5 actions down to 3, and those 3 being all part-time and full-time non-representative employees, all on one ordinance. What you'll see in this ordinance is set up a little bit different. Prior ordinances had 4 different sections separating employees by either general or management, and they were embedded in the ordinance. It's been revised, so the narrative is a first, and then it references a schedule that's attached. And part of the reason to do a schedule attached, it's a lot easier for us to both publish in the paper as well as to update from one year to the next. And then lastly, regarding the look and feel of that ordinance, so what you'll notice is there's a new column in there that lists the department for those individuals. We do list the midpoint because our personal policy manual does give hiring managers the authority to hire up to midpoints for promotional purposes, so wanted to have that known for our management group. And then lastly, it does filter the salaries based off of the maximum of the salary range. And the intention for this is to have this document look and feel more like a salary grade plan, where positions that have like knowledge, skills, abilities, compensation are kind of grouped together. So that's kind of how the flow of this looks. As I mentioned, the law ordinance will be separate. We do have a meeting with Personnel and Finance tomorrow, as well as the law group representative for bargaining. Our goal is to have that back to the Common Council on December 21st. And then the library's salary grade plan is the next item on this agenda. So one item of note when we were compiling this, this does include the utilities as well. Having talked to General Manager Sullivan yesterday, we noted that there were 2 employees who had recently received adjustments that we didn't get reflected in our schedule. So we'll make that adjustment here. The challenge being that we currently operate under 2 HR, financial, and payroll systems. So something we just didn't catch as part of our process. But the spirit of the ordinance is that everyone will get a 2% cost of living increase as of January 1st, which is what was provided for in the adopted 22 budget. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions the council may have.
Thank you, Max. Questions for Max? Andrew?
Excuse me, just add a little bit more color and background to the ordinance. Personnel and Finance has thoroughly went over this ordinance and obviously it recommended approval. One of the things that we've been discussing at length with Personnel and Finance Committee is the strategic action plan item regarding a comprehensive classification and compensation analysis, at least in terms of benchmarking, to make sure we're competitive in each of our positions. And we're working through exactly how that might work, and it's going to take some time. However, there's a couple points in that. There's obviously external equity. We want to make sure that like positions and responsibilities in other municipalities that we're adequately compensating our staff, or competitively, I should say, not adequately, competitively compensating our staff. But also there's an internal equity piece. And I was not privy to the last conversation at Personnel and Finance, but we've been talking a lot about that internal equity, such that even the compression issue with police and fire command staff has been, a strategic priority in our budget document. We're going down a pathway to create some differential between those for a variety of issues, but also other internal equity issues. And the way that this ordinance, and really the exhibit or the chart in the ordinance lays out, it really puts that into perspective, and challenge the council to study that even after this meeting, because the Personnel and Finance Committee is going to take a look at it. And you can kind of go through and see, because it's in kind of descending order in terms of the overall pay ranges. You can kind of see where there's, positions and areas of responsibility and areas of liability that are maybe, up too far or, above or below other positions. And there's some logical deductions that you can make there. So that's what we're talking about in terms of that equity. And I believe the Personnel and Finance Committee really thought that was a way to kind of expose some of those points, and as we're working on them. Max also alluded to another issue that I think we really need to drive hard towards this year, and that's the separate payroll systems that we have. We have two financial systems, two payroll systems in the city and in, a certain department in the city, which has been historic. And I'm going to challenge the staff to sit down and really try to drive towards that, so we don't have, a payroll system for 300 plus employees and then a completely separate payroll system for less than 40 employees, similar to the software, the financial software. There are challenges with utility billing and things like that. And if we get to the exact place we are today, after a thorough discussion, so be it. But, through the course of 2022 here, I think we need to drive towards really understanding that. And the Board of Public Works actually was kind of got a preview into that, because the utility requested some financial software in the capital improvement budget for the utilities in 2022. And I think that, set some, put some questions out there. And we talked about this 7 years ago or so when the city engaged with and kind of onboarded BS&A, and we just need to really rethink that and look at, is that the right way to go, for the next 20 years. And just thought I'd bring that up, both strategic action plan items in terms of the compensation, competitive compensation we'd like to offer our staff here. And it's a crazy time. I mean, wage inflation is going to be a huge deal, and we can't be on the outside looking in, and then, the resource overlap with certain departments in the city and central HR and finance. So.
Any other questions, comments? Okay, seeing none, motion please.
Yeah, I'll move to approve ordinance 3025, an ordinance fixing the salary ranges, salary, wages, and allowances for all full-time and part-time non-represented positions for the year 2022.
Guzekowski will second.
Roll call.
Alderman Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Lurick.
Aye.
Dukenyak.
Aye.
Toman.
Aye.
And item 6 is consideration of a resolution acknowledging and filing the 2022 calendar year salary grade plans and benefits for the library personnel. Max, you again?
Yeah, I can speak to this one. Max Gagan, Assistant City Administrator Comptroller. So before you tonight is the library salary grade plan that's adopted by the library board per state statute. So the Common Council's action is a resolution just to recognize that. This salary grade plan does afford the same cost of living adjustment as was provided to the other non-represented folks, so 2% as of the first of the year. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions on this as well.
Questions and comments for Max concerning library?
Next, any other, I don't know what we call them anymore. Any other wage adjustments made in that process, or just across the board 2%ers?
I believe there was either 1 or 2 adjustments related to management staff having parity amongst all of their division heads, but otherwise it was 2% across the board.
I see we don't show the actual salaries for 2022. Is that just the way they laid that out, or?
Yeah, and I talked about this with the library director, Lininger, previously, when we were still trying to figure out what the look and feel of the ordinance was for the schedule for the non-reps that was presented to Personnel and Finance. She actually already had gone to the library board and had them approve this version that didn't have the salaries on it. So the one thing we've talked about is that we want to make sure it's a consistent format amongst all of the non-reps, both in the ordinance that you just approved as well as this.
Because this format's really not useful to
great
folks who are not on the board, so.
Right. Okay.
Anyway.
That's noted.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great.
Any other questions, comments? Okay. Mike, you good? Yeah. Okay. Seeing none, motion.
Lorik moves to adopt resolution number 12280-120721, acknowledging and filing the 2022 calendar year salary grade plan and benefits for library personnel.
Dukenyak, second.
Roll call.
Alderman Guzekowski.
Aye.
Lorik.
Aye.
Dukenyak.
Aye.
Toman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
And item 7 is consideration of a resolution establishing various fees, permits, and charges charged by the city of Oak Creek to be effective January 1 of 22. So Max, you with us on that one as well? On the fees, or are we going?
Sure. Yeah, I'll go ahead and do it. Again, Max Gagan, Assistant City Administrator, Comptroller. So before you tonight are various fee adjustments. We do our annual fee schedule each year. So as part of that process, clerk's office works with the various departments and management to ask what fees that we should request adjustments for the year. So what you'll see is there's a summary of the fees that are being proposed by the various departments. I'll just kind of do a summation of what all the departments have proposed. Certainly, if there's questions about specific fees, I would ask the alderperson to direct that to the appropriate manager. Community development, some minor adjustments, positive fiscal impacts. A lot of it is trying to generate, or not generate, but to cover our costs for certain publications. We're seeing that, our public notices are becoming lengthier. The publication costs are increasing. We're just trying to recuperate our costs there. Engineering had one small permanent adjustment, or it's like 2 permanent adjustments. And then for inspections, some minor adjustments to some of our building code related fees, working with the inspections supervisor, just looking at where our fees were related to the state recommendations and peer comparables. We were the lowest and quite far the lowest. So just trying to make some small adjustments there so that we don't get too far below where our peers are, and that we have to make a significant increase sometime in the future to try and keep that up. And from what I recall having that conversation with him, I think the last time we adjusted building permit fees, I think it was 2017. So it's been about 4 or 5 years. And then lastly, some adjustments for fire department, really just a 2% increase to accommodate the addition in wages and benefits in the 22 budget. So that, happy to answer any questions council might have.
Any questions for Max? And I think Max summed it up very well. This is really the cost of doing business, and we make these adjustments every 4 or 5 years out. And believe me, this just isn't staff. There's things connected to the state with fire inspection and everything else going forward. And if you really look at it, these fees are nominal for the service you're getting because, as I say all the time, we have the best staff going around, and at least in my opinion, of southeastern Wisconsin. So nothing grossly out of line here, in my opinion. So, if no other comments, questions, motion, please.
Bill move to approve resolution 12282-012071, establishing various fees, permits, and charges charged by the city of Oak Creek to be effective 1/1/2022.
Guzekowski will second.
Roll call.
Alderman Lorik.
Aye.
Dukenyak.
Aye.
Toman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
And that will get us to item 8, and that is consideration of a motion to approve the appointment of the election inspectors for a 2-year period of January 1, 2022 through December 31, 2023. And at this time, I'll invite Catherine if she'd like to make a comment regarding the poll workers.
Certainly, this is just a routine appointment that needs to happen every other year. So the odd numbers, the election inspectors, chief inspectors, poll workers that work central count are all required to have 6 hours of training every 2-year cycle so that they are eligible to serve. So next week coming up, we will have probably over 150 poll workers being trained for this purpose, and they will be certified then for the 22-23 election cycle. And attached are those, including existing poll workers, ones that I have received from the major candidate parties, and new poll workers that have offered to volunteer for our community. And then along the way, especially next year, ramping up into a governor election, we will add additional poll workers who will also be trained over the next 2 years.
Thank you for that, Catherine.
Certainly.
Questions, Cam?
Catherine, can you just fill me in? I see that there's just a few out of Oak Creek folks on this list. So is that, how is that to line up with statute or legal?
So years ago, the requirement was that any election inspector or poll worker that work for the city also reside within the municipality. And I want to say 3 to 4 years ago, it had they updated the state statute that you could reside anywhere within Milwaukee County and work for any municipality within Milwaukee County. I'm very fortunate because I gathered some poll workers from neighboring communities who really wanted to work in Oak Creek. So you will see neighboring communities listed.
Okay.
Rich? Catherine, didn't I notice one from Caledonia? That's not Milwaukee County.
So central count, there's actually that person is more of a staff member here at City Hall, but we utilized her as a staff person in central count on that day. So she's eligible to work for us for that purpose and for that reason.
Rich? If there's no further questions before we call for a motion, I would just like to thank these people for stepping forward and volunteering because quite frankly, our government doesn't work without them. So thank you for the time and effort, the number of times you have to come out and help us run an election. So with that, motion.
They'll move to approve the appointment of election inspectors for the 2-year period, January 1, 2022 through December 31st, 2023.
Guzekowski, will second.
Roll call.
Alderman Dukenyak.
Aye.
Toman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Lurick.
Aye. Great, thank you, guys. Item 9 gets us to health, and that's consideration of a resolution approving the First Amendment to the Zone E Community COVID-19 Mass Vaccine Site Memorandum of Understanding amongst Cudahy, Oak Creek, South Milwaukee, St. Francis Health Departments outlining how clinic revenue will be distributed between the health departments. And we have our health officer, Darcy, with us tonight. Welcome, Darcy.
Hi, good evening. Darcy Du Bois, Health Officer. So this is an amendment to an MOU that was passed by the council back in February regarding the shared joint COVID-19 vaccine clinic between the 4 communities in our zone. This amendment outlines how any clinic revenue would be distributed amongst the 4 communities. So we are able to bill insurance for a vaccine administration fee similar to what we do for a flu or other vaccines. The Cudahy Health Department has taken the lead in that billing process, and we realized that our previous MOU did not outline how we would share any revenue that was gained. So this is just outlining how we would share it. We're proposing to share the revenue in the same proportions that we contribute funding to the vaccine clinic operations. Any questions that I can answer?
Questions for Darcy?
How did you manage the last cycle with how was allocated? If we didn't spell it out?
Sorry, I didn't hear the question.
I think you said we didn't have it actually spelled out in the last.
Right, so far the revenue that has come in is just in an account with the Cudahy Health Department waiting to be distributed.
Okay. Seeing no further discussion or questions, motion.
Bill will move to approve resolution 12285-12021, approving the First Amendment to the Zone E Community COVID-19 Mass Vaccine Site Memorandum of Understanding among Cudahy, Oak Creek, and South Milwaukee St. Francis Health Departments, outlining how clinic revenue will be distributed between the health departments.
Guzekowski, will second.
Roll call.
Alderman Toman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Lurick.
Aye.
Dukenyak.
Aye. Thank you, Darcy.
Thank you.
Item 10 is Public Works and Utility, and it's consideration of a resolution approving conveyance of rights and land agreement with Milwaukee County at 2300, 2046, 2036, 2032, and 2008 West Rawson Avenue. And with us is Brian Johnston from the Water Utility. Welcome, Brian.
Good evening. So this is a Milwaukee County project. They're reconstructing Rawson Avenue from 27th to 20th. With that, they are purchasing some right-of-way. So we have some sanitary sewer easements that are in this right-of-way that they're purchasing. So we're going to release the rights. It just becomes road right-of-way not an existing easement. All of our rights for the underground improvements still remain intact. And also, if the county needs to do a project to impact any of the underground facility, they will still pay for that realignment, just as our easement would provide. So it doesn't change anything that way.
Thank you, Brian. Questions for Brian? Pretty straightforward. Seeing none, motion?
Moves to adopt resolution number 12283-120721, approving a conveyance of rights in land agreement with Milwaukee County at 2300, 2046, 2036, 2032, and 2008 West Rawson Avenue.
Guzekowski, a second. Yeah, can I, 1 second?
Yes.
Sorry, just question, Brian, as long as I understand there, did we originally pay for those easements or not?
I don't know if they were paid for or not.
We're not getting any compensation?
No.
We're just conveying them?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
Good question.
I had a second, so roll call. I believe I had a second. Yes.
Yes.
Thanks, Chris.
Alderman Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Lorik.
Aye.
Dukenyak.
Aye.
Toman.
Aye.
And item 11 also pertains to Rawson Avenue, and it's consideration of a resolution approving a temporary construction easement agreement with Milwaukee County on various parcels along West Rawson Avenue between 27th Street and 20th Street. Brian?
This one is even more administrative than the first one. This is a temporary easement on our existing easement, so it's giving the county the right to construct the roadway on top of our easement along that whole stretch, so.
It's the administrative world. Any questions for Brian on the easement on an easement? Seeing none, motion.
Clerk moves to adopt resolution number 12284-120721, approving a temporary construction easement agreement with Milwaukee County on various parcels along West Rawson Avenue between South 27th Street and South 20th Street.
Guzekowski, second. Roll call.
Alderman Guzekowski.
Aye.
Lorik.
Aye.
Dukenyak.
Aye.
Toman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
And item 12 is the License Committee, and I usually turn this over to Alderman Kirkowski with Ken. Rich, you're going to take it?
I'll take that, Mayor.
Okay.
Good evening, council members. On the December 7th License Committee report, there is a recommendation that the council grant various license requests. There have been 4 requests for operators license, those are the bartenders licenses, and 1 request for the granting of a Class B combination liquor license. Any questions, comments, or concerns about the recommended approval? Given no questions, Dukenyak move to approve the motion to grant the various license requests as listed on the 12/7/21 License Committee report.
Oracle, second. Roll call.
Alderman Lorik.
Aye.
Dukenyak.
Aye.
Toman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
And item 13 is our vendor summary report for the date of December 1st, 2021, for the total of $399,257.94. And please take a moment to review the report. And if there's any questions, please address the floor and someone will answer in due time.
Yeah, I did have one.
Yeah.
Because I'm not familiar with this. Actually, there's 2 of them on here. I think they're related. Max, you probably know what this is. The items number 9 and 12 on the front page there. That obviously is for the Sudpec property. I know the Yakich family was the original controlling entity there. So, do you know what that was? Or Doug, would you have a feel for that?
Yes, so both of those are claims of excessive assessment refunds, and I believe those are both properties via the state. So it was the state that settled those on our behalf. And that's 2018, 19, and 20.
Those were appeals that went directly to the State Board of Assessors, and that is the dollar
Is
amount.
this manufacturing or what?
Correct. Yes.
That's nice.
Any other questions pertaining to the vendor summary? Seeing none, motion?
I'll move to approve the December 1st, 2021 vendor summary report in the total amount of $399,257.94.
Guzekowski, second.
Roll call?
Alderman Dukenyak.
Aye.
Toman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Lorik.
Aye.
And item 14 is consideration of a motion to convene into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin State Statute, Section 19.85, to discuss the following. Section 19.85, Parent 1, Parent G, to discuss litigation and settlement strategies related to the city claims against certain opioid manufacturers and distributors. Alderman Gale?
Thank you, Mayor. Gail moved to convene in the closed session pursuant to Wisconsin State Statute, Section 19.85, to discuss the following. A, Section 19.85, Sub 1, Sub G, to discuss litigation and settlement strategies related to city claims against certain opioid manufacturers and distributors.
Guzekowski, second.
Roll call?
Alderman Toman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Lorik.
Aye.
Dukenyak.
Aye.
We will now convene into closed session and resume at its conclusion. Everybody ready to go? Melissa, you're gonna read it, Ken's gonna do it.
Yep.
Can you hear that?
What's that, Dan?
Melissa's
Yeah.
ready to go.
Yep.
After the first couple weeks of the January.
Mike also. Yeah, okay. We will now entertain a motion to convene into open session.
Gail moves to reconvene in open session.
Guzekowski will second.
Roll call.
Alderman Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Lorik.
Aye.
Dukenyak.
Aye.
Toman.
Aye.
And item 16 is consideration of motion to take action if required. Melissa, would you state what we are looking at?
Certainly. Thank you, Mayor. This would be a motion to approve the Wisconsin Local Government Memorandum of Understanding, the Wisconsin State Local Government Memorandum of Understanding, the Settlement Participation Form for Distributors Settlement, and the Settlement Participation Form for the Janssen Settlement related to opioid litigation, and authorizing the mayor to sign where applicable.
All right. Gail will move to concur with the city's attorney language.
Guzekowski will second.
Roll call.
Alderman Guzekowski.
Aye.
Lorik.
Aye.
Dukenyak.
Aye.
Toman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
And that will get us to adjournment. Before we adjourn, Rich, you have something?
Thank you, Mayor Dan. I just want to give a shout out and some acknowledgement for our Community Light the Square event last week, Wednesday. Very sweet. It was a nice event once again, and City Celebrations did a great job. Streets Department and Mayor Dan, you probably know the other groups that were all part of that planning and putting it, into place. But again, if you weren't there, you missed it because it was a really cool event. So shout out to those two groups and Mayor Dan, others that may have been part of it.
Yeah, very good. Salvation Army was there, B93, of course, DPW in background, fire, police, everybody that assisted us in making that night possible. Leslie back there, kind of quiet and nodding. She's always behind the scenes. And the weather cooperated greatly. So, again, it takes community, and more importantly, the residents turned out. They really look forward to it, and it's a beautiful display out there, and it'll be there through the holidays and then some. So take some time, enjoy it. If you can't make it to the square, tune in to Channel 12. They tend to show it quite a bit in the morning on the weather cam there, so, which is great. One other side note, today is Pearl Harbor Day. It was 80 years ago the United States was attacked and drawn into World War II, and really kicked off what's known as the Greatest Generation that really set the tone for the world going forward and really saved our freedoms. So take a moment, acknowledge that, pass it on to your kids. And on a lesser note, the We Energies cookie book is out, and it's all military bound this year. So everybody looks forward to it, and we have a great partner in We Energies. Just wanted to thank them and acknowledge them for dropping off a copy. So appreciate that. With that, motion to adjourn, please.
Move to adjourn.
Yeah, second.
Roll call.
Alderman Lorik.
Aye.
Dukenyak.
Aye.
Toman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
All right. Night, everybody.